Alrighty, welcome everybody to our collective coach call. Tonight we are talking about inviting, and I'm just excited to have you all on here. My plan for tonight is I wanted to share some things that I've been doing, some tricks and some systems that I've been using for inviting both to fitness groups as well as to the coaching opportunity, as well as reaching out to people about Shakeology in particular, and kind of share with you those systems, and then also share with you what I consider to be a magical question that I learned from a friend over the Cancun trip. And I'll tell you the story about that. And then also I want to share with you how I did a sprint to Success Club in the last 2 days of last month, and how that went well and what I changed. I did something really different, and it worked. So I went from 0 points to 10 points in 2 days. I just about died, but it worked. So I want to share that with you guys as well. So that is the plan as far as what I'd like to share. And then, everybody, please feel free to jump in, when you have a spark, an idea, something that's been working well for you, or a question, and I'll have my own questions for you guys so we can just have this conversation. Sounds good?
Mm-hmm.
Good. And that was my first segue into the conversation. One of the big questions, the most powerful questions that I've been using has been this question of sounds good, or how does that sound? So I want to actually walk you through, I'm going to share a screen of, here we are, share a screen of our team website, and show you literally what the training that I put together for our team as far as inviting people, and just kind of walk us through. So, if you're on our team, this is it. And if you're not on our team, feel free to check it out. It's an open website, open to anyone. So the website is ripped411.com, and this comes on our Coach Sneak Peek Day 3, and here is the URL at the top. Can you all see the screen shared? Yeah, cool. Great. Okay. So this is about halfway down the page. Earlier in the page, I kind of talk about what a coach is and all of that. This is what I use for Coach Sneak Peeks. And then I wanted to actually give specific details about, if somebody is looking to become a coach, what is it that they would be doing? So I've actually outlined kind of the beginning of our coach training, even before somebody decides this is something they want to do. So these are the 5 questions that I use to help people. They are somewhat based on the 5-step invitation that Tommy Migrant put together, which is fantastic. I've tweaked it a little bit in a way that kind of works better for me, and a way that kind of opens the conversation from some different perspectives. So just to kind of give us some an intro to what this is I think about inviting in 3 different ways. And I actually got this from Danny Johnson. So she talks about inviting from the perspective of being a fisher, a hunter, or a trapper. So for a fisher, that would be a situation where the fisher is primarily concerned with polishing the lure, with making sure that whatever shiny thing that you're dropping in front of your prospect is really, really attractive. So that would mean having great fitness results that you post about, or having great business results. And those are really attractive things that will cause people to be magnetically drawn to you, and to start the conversation where they're asking you, hey, what are you doing? So that's what a fisher is. A trapper would be somebody who's kind of broadcasting a broad invitation, hey, I'm going to do a free clean eating group this Monday, and I'd love for you to join me. So then, a bunch of people might like and comment on that Facebook invitation, and then you'd follow up with them. So you're kind of like trapping a bunch of people into a net, and then through conversations, you are filtering out those who are serious from those who are not going to participate. So that's the trapper. And then the hunter is somebody who is starting a conversation with a potential person. So you might go to a friend or a family member and say like, hey, I'm putting together a 21-day free or 21-day eating group and workout group, and I have a couple spots left in the group, and I wanted to know if you'd be interested in joining. So, the hunter is initiating the conversation. So with these three different models, fisher, trapper, hunter, there's no one right way to do it. I think there are certain personalities that might lend themselves more toward one or the other, and there are certain kind of situations where one or the other might be more appropriate. And I've used all three. My main mode is more the fisher. So, the people that tend to get involved with what I'm doing are usually coming to me. That has not always been the case. In the beginning, when I didn't have my results and I didn't have a lot of credibility, I was going out to people. I was doing a lot of hunting and trapping as well. So with the site here, it is primarily coming from a fisher's standpoint. However, it's possible to actually kind of convert this into the other two modes as well. So let's say somebody comes to you and they ask, what man, your abs are amazing. What are you doing? Or I need some fitness help. I've been in the gym forever and I'm not sure what to do. I'm really frustrated. So that's what leads me into these 5 questions. Then in between the 5 questions, while it's not quite a script, but it's really like some steps to follow through with these 5 questions. That's where a lot of the human interaction and the kind of the personality can come through. So I like to think of it as an ARQ. ARQ. So that stands for affirm, relate, question. For example, if somebody says something to you like, hey, I just went to the park today, then you can be forming a relationship with them by affirming them first. Hey, parks are awesome. Man, it was a great day. And then relate. I was able to go out for a walk today too with my dog. It was so great to get some fresh air. And then ask the next question. Something like, hey, do you get a lot of time to walk or to go outside to a park? So that's where the forming of the relationship comes in. Once you're ready to start asking questions, they're right here. The first question is, what have you been doing for your workouts these days? They tell you that whole story. Affirm, relate, and then ask the next question. How's your food/nutrition going? Any challenges there? Affirm, relate, ask a question. Number 3, how about support? Do you have a great group of friends who cheer you on and hold you accountable? Affirm, relate, ask a question. And then what kind of results are you looking for? Same thing, ARQ. And then finally, now you've got me curious. Why is this important to you? Or sometimes I say important for you, depending on how I'm feeling in the moment. And that really kind of helps them to connect with their inner core of why. I like to ask the why question at the end, because by that point we've had a rapport that's developed and there's more of a connection of trust. So people tend to feel a lot more open once we've had that conversation, rather than like punching them with the why right in the very beginning. So once we've gotten through that, then I describe what our challenge group is like. And for our team, it's a ramp. It's a Facebook group message thread. And this is where I describe this. I literally copy and paste this paragraph. And it ends with this magical question: how does that sound? We are kind of conditioned to answer the question, how does that sound, with sounds good. That's just kind of the way our brain works. It kind of feels weird to say it doesn't sound good. So, that tends to flow really smoothly. And if they say yes, it sounds great, it's affirmative, then I ask, do you already have a Beachbody program that you'd like to do? And then I'll often kind of restate what their goals are. So if they want to bulk up, I'll say, do you already have a Beachbody program to add mass that you'd like to do? If not, I've done a bunch of them and I can recommend one. So this really places me in a position of a consultant rather than a vendor. I am not selling them anything. I have tried a bunch of them and I can recommend something that worked for me. So if they already have one, great. Then you walk them through how to make you their coach or switch to you as their coach. If they don't, that's where I recommend the program, and I use this paragraph here where I affirm, great, so based on what you said, I'd recommend this program that, and this is where I describe exactly what the program is like. I do not mention names. I almost never mention a product name. I just say it's that you've got your 30-minute workouts that come on DVDs and streaming as well. It comes with this great food shopping grocery list and nutrition guide, these color-coded portion control containers that, now I don't have to count calories anymore. And they even include 30 days of that superfood smoothie that I have for breakfast that I love. Normally, and here's where I talk about price, normally all of this costs, and I will give them the price of everything as if it were not included in a challenge pack, which is generally about $60 to $90 more than the challenge pack. So I'll say, it's $230, but right now Beachbody is having this promo sale for only $160. It'll definitely work for you. How does that sound? They can really see the value, and then if they like it, it's all good. Then I'll connect with them on the phone. Do you have 10 minutes to chat on the phone so I can help you connect with that program, and then walk them through the steps of getting that challenge pack. So that is basically my invitation process, and it's I've been doing this for 5 years, and this is probably the highest closing rate that I've had. Any questions about that? I know this is kind of a review for some people here.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah.
Explain when you go from before you ask your first question. What were you saying you talked about before that?
Anything.
So that's just general talk.
Yep.
Leading to the first question.
Yeah.
That's asking them about the whole park situation. They went to the park. You say, great, all that. Okay.
That's the forming. Exactly.
That's cool, because that's pretty much those 5 questions are pretty much what I ask.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty dead on of the way I do it.
How's it working for you then?
It's been working good. The bottom below that is where I need my work. It's what you say and what, your transition words and all that, that wordplay is what I need work on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is great. I'm gonna really pull from this.
Yeah. Copy and paste. Personalize.
Yeah, personalize, because I might not talk like that. I wouldn't want to copy that and then someone say, well, that doesn't sound like him,
Exactly. Yeah.
That sounds like Michael McBride. What the heck?
Yeah. Now, another question I have, which I usually, the system I follow is kind of similar. Usually when it comes to the money part is where I get the most rejections, is once you get to that 100 and whatever, it's kind of like, oh, okay. And that's usually where I struggle. Do you have any struggles with that ever, and how do you overcome that?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I have less struggles now than I used to. First of all, I think the first thing to acknowledge is that I need to really believe that this is a great deal. First of all, I need to understand that they are getting this incredible value, and it's a great deal. So everything that kind of comes out of me comes from that perspective. I think the biggest switch that made this a lot more effective for me is where I itemized everything first. So they get this, they get that, they get this, that, and this. And normally all of that is this much. And then, and sometimes I'll even add a little sentence after that for that higher price. I'll say, normally it's all $230, comma, which I thought was way less than having 3 months of a trainer. And I'll kind of put myself in their shoes and say, like, I actually thought that was a really great deal when I saw that Beachbody put this together. Because again, I'm not the seller. I am the consultant. And then I'll say, but now I see that Beachbody is doing this promo sale for only $160. It'll definitely work for you. So even after that, while I do get fewer objections at that point, it happens. For some people, it's like a timing thing. Oh, I get paid on Friday. I can't do it now. I tend not to push a lot. Like, I tend not to kind of rationalize and ask them to itemize what they do for their, I tend not to try to convince anybody that they can afford it. However, I do, if they start talking about Shakeology and how much that costs, I have asked the question of, well, tell me this, how much do you typically spend on a healthy meal? Even if you were to get it at a grocery store and make it at home. And most people say, for like a really good healthy meal, that costs in the area of on the low side, $3 to $8. If you go out to eat, you're talking $8 to $12. So then, I'll just say from the perspective of a co-customer, Shakeology is only about $4. So, for me, I actually ended up saving money on my grocery bill. So it was just totally worth it for me. I think you should definitely do it.
Awesome.
And if they don't do it, no worries. They'll be watching, and they will, as they see you doing awesome, then they will come back at some point when they really understand of what it is.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. I've had a lot of people come back that have initially rejected, and I think part of what you said is true too. It's a lot of the belief in yourself that this is the right thing for them, which helps. Because I think that's the Shakeology thing, I'm easy to be comfortable about that. It's the programs where, I'll be honest, my first program I bought used off of somebody because I wasn't about to spend that $100 and whatever dollars. Now I buy all my programs through Beachbody. But so when people tell me, well, I can get this for this, it's like, in my eyes, I can kind of understand where they're coming from. So it's kind of like, I know there's other alternatives out there to get in shape. And obviously this is something I found. So, I feel that confidence, and this is the best, it's hard for me because I can understand their side a lot of the times. The Shakeology is the only one I'm really strong about because I know this is like the best thing that they can get for that price.
Yeah. Here's the way I get around people saying, oh, I can get P90X off of Amazon for cheaper. I never tell them what the name of the program is until they've already bought it. They don't need to know it's jargon. All they need to know is there's this program that mixes cardio and yoga and flexibility and weight training, and I did it, and I look amazing. Don't you want to do that?
Now, once they click to order, it's going to show what it is, and so then that's when they're going to realize.
Yeah, they'll see it. They'll see it once they get to. So I'm on the phone with them, and I've been using the Coach Mobile app pretty much exclusively now. So I'll pre-configure it and everything. And I did a video actually walking through that if anybody was curious. So I just tell them, Beachbody is going to send you an email with your order pre-configured. All you have to do is confirm it and enter your payment info. And I'll go ahead and hold with you on the line while you do that, just to make sure the website doesn't get screwy. So then, I'm walking through that. They open it up. They're like, then at that point, that's when they see what the name of the program is for the first time. But by that point, it'd be easier for them to pay for it there rather than having to go research on Amazon. It almost, once they're at that point, 99% they buy.
So then in the same regard, they've noticed that too, that you regard your posts in general without mentioning names, because otherwise they're going to be like, oh, I see what you're doing. You're posting, you did, P90X, or you did 21-day fix. So then they kind of have an idea. So like, how long did you go away from posting what the names are before people were able to understand that, or didn't catch on to this is this program that he's guiding me to?
Mm-hmm. I've been avoiding posting names of programs for about a year now. Yeah. The only times that I will post names of programs, if I am sharing results before and afters, then I'll say I did Insanity Max 30 and these are my results. I think every once in a while it's okay to drop a name, but I don't litter it, and I call Shakeology a superfood smoothie.
Hey, it's something too that I try to make available whenever because I was having a lot of the same problems, Brandon, where I was getting, a lot of people saying the same thing, it seems expensive. I can get that somewhere else cheaper. My experience, the first program that I did was P90X years ago, and I didn't get through it because I didn't have any support. So having the Fit Family, which is what I refer to it on Facebook, was huge, because that was the only way that I actually made it through an entire program. And now I've done 3 different programs that have actually finished. Mm-hmm. And I'm I've been in gyms all my life, and I never got the results or had the kind of community that I have with Beachbody. So that's been a big thing for me as far as getting past objections with that. 'Cause I'm it doesn't matter about the money, because I'm getting results because I have the support that I wasn't finding in gyms. And I'm sure, you can get it on Amazon, but if you don't have support, then the price doesn't really matter.
Now, I completely agree with that, because that's my story too. I was the same way. I finished P90X, but I didn't do any of the nutrition part. So obviously it didn't work the way it was supposed to. And it wasn't until I got signed up with Coach 2. Now, what if if someone comes to you and say, hey, I own this program, or they buy it somewhere else, are you still going to invite them in, obviously? So, that's where it's that catch-22, because it's well, if you get it on Amazon, you're not going to get that support. And then they go and buy an Amazon and say, hey, I own a program. Can I sign up under you? So it's kind of you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to be well, you bought on Amazon, so I'm not talking to you. You're obviously going to still want to allow that. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
I do. Those situations happen, but they are much more the exception than the rule. So I do invite them into the group and treat them like everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's that's how I got involved. And now look, I'm a coach, years later. So it worked out for my coach and, his upline and things like that. So I do understand that concept. So, and I like that mindset that you're saying, though, is not mentioning names, because then it changes it a bit. It changes it so that, it makes it, and the whole thing about being a consultant, not a seller. I like that whole mindset. I think that's a great concept.
Yeah. And if you're creating value and they did buy it from Amazon, hopefully the next time they want to buy one, they would buy it through you.
From you. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, and you still have you have so much more potential to, increase that. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, if they bought something from Amazon, and this kind of leads me to the next thing I was thinking about, I do present Shakeology. So usually if they get it from someplace else, they don't have Shakeology. So here is the magic question that I learned from a friend of mine in Cancun. Her name is Tiffany Burkholz, and we actually went to college together. So Tiffany, if you're ever watching this, thank you. Tiffany, first of all, let me just describe her. She is just the nicest, energetic, most positive, enthusiastic person that just makes you feel warm and good whenever she talks to anybody. And she's like that across the board. That's just who she is. And we spent a lot of time together in Cancun. And every once in a while, she would ask me about something, and I would just, it was this light bulb that went out. And the way that she asked it was totally trying to take care of you and make sure that you had the very, very best. And the question was basically this. She would say, let's say, if she were trying to tell me about Shakeology, she would say something like, and I'm putting words into her mouth, but it would be like, Michael, please tell me you already know about Shakeology, right? That was it. And like whatever she asked me about it, I would be, and if I didn't know it, I would be like, oh my gosh, no, I don't. What is this? What am I missing out on? What should I know about? It was this, please tell me you already know about ... right? So that's how I'm presenting Shakeology. So somebody comes in, I bought P90X, and there's somebody I'm talking to right now. He got P90X off of whatever. And he's a week into it, and he was like, I need some support. I heard you do the support thing. So, I'm switching him over to, so I'm his coach. And I will ask him, please tell me you already know about Shakeology, right? And then that opens the conversation where they're like, well, I saw some commercial on the workout, but I don't really know what it is. Then I can talk about my own experience and just and take it from there. So that question is great for Shakeology, and that question is also great about talking about the coach opportunity. And I've done this a couple times, and the last 3 coaches that I brought onto my team have been sparked from that conversation, from that question. And it's really cool because you don't have to be talking about anything else related necessarily. Like you can just literally, if you have rapport with somebody, if you've established that connection, you can ask that question. Like, I don't know, maybe somebody's looking for a job, or somebody needs more money, or, oh, we can't afford, oh my gosh, OMG, please tell me you already know about what Beachbody coaching is, right?
Do you say that verbally or is that text?
Both. I've done it both ways. If I say it, I won't say OMG, but I'll
yes, you will.
Say something else.
Yes, you will.
Start off with some sort of like exclamation, like, wow, please tell me you already know about this.
Yeah. No, that's pretty awesome.
So we're going to do a coach sneak peek next week, and Chad, this is actually part of the script that we're going to be working on, and Pete, so that's how I want to open the conversation. So if they say anything to that question, either yes or kind of or no, it really, their answer can be anything to that question, then I'm going to say, well, you know what, I'm actually running this 3-day coach sneak peek so that you can take a look, or something like that. I'll refine that part of the script. But just that opening question has been really, really powerful for me.
I got a question for you. Regarding that coach sneak peek, do you only invite customers of yours that have been through a program or have started a program, or do you just cold call coach sneak peeks to anybody who basically, because that's pretty important. Cold calls are a whole different ball game than people you've established relationships with.
Yes. I will definitely present it to our customers, especially those who are in the challenge group now. As far as cold calling, I'm not going to do that. I haven't done a lot of cold calling to people that I've not established a relationship with. However, I will be reaching out to a lot of the people who interact with my Facebook posts and who I might, have already formed a relationship. So I would consider them more warm market than cold market. I have done cold calling in the past, and I haven't had a lot of success with it. Granted, I'm sure the more you do it, the better you get at it. But I will be, and this is something that I want to do a lot more, that I learned from Cancun, from the top 10 coaches, is just presenting the business opportunity to more people than just those who are in your challenge group. To people who are general fitness enthusiasts, or they love yoga, or they love running.
Yeah.
If they like fitness, I'll go to them and say, please tell me you already know about Beachbody coaching, right?
Awesome.
Yeah. So, cool. The last thing that I wanted to share is how I sprinted from Success Club 0 to Success Club 10 in 2 days. Granted, I was talking to a lot of people and following up with a lot of people, and there were a lot of people who were like, yeah, but I can't do it until Friday when I get paid. And I'm thinking in my head, darn, the month ends on Thursday. You can't do this to me. And here's what I did that was pretty extreme. But I went to some people that haven't bought anything before, but I have a lot of interaction with them on Facebook or through text messaging, or like we have a relationship. And I messaged them. This is the Hunter. I messaged them and I said, in fact, let me see if I can read it. And I said something like, come on, where are you? Here it is. Okay, that went on for quite a while. Okay, I'll summarize it. Basically, I said something like, hey, would you do me a huge favor? I've got a personal goal that I'm working toward this month, and I'm so close. I'm wondering if I can match you up with a workout program, then I'll be able to make this goal. Please say no if that's something you don't have any interest in, but I just wanted to check with you. And that's what put me over the top with the last 4 points. So it was kind of scary to do that, to just like break into just really a cold text. I did it over text and I did it over messaging. But with the people that I have a relationship with, that I've been talking to a lot, just a way to kind of help nudge them into a decision, was just kind of sharing really openly, hey, would you do me a favor? And, I'll tell you what it is so you can say no if you can't do it. But I do want to ask you for this. And it really was because they're doing me a favor, and they're in. So it came down, this is the extreme, how extreme it got. There's one guy who I talked with a few years ago, and he never quite moved. But since then, he's gone through some life changes, and has really been putting a lot more emphasis on his health. But he hasn't reached out to me. So I sent him this message, and just exactly what I said. And he said, yes, you know what? I've been meaning to reach out to you. I've been meaning to kind of put a focus on this. So I'm really glad that you messaged me. And I was at an event that night. He was actually at a dress rehearsal for a show he's in. And we were texting a little bit. And then as soon as we both got home, it was literally 15 minutes before the cutoff date, before the end of the month, when everything was going to cycle back over. We called each other, and he said, look, I know we don't have a lot of time. And I said, yep. Tell me, do you build muscle or lose fat? And he was like, I want to build muscle. Okay. And I was like, great. I'll have Beachbody send you this email. You just have to confirm it, enter your payment info, and I promise I'll tell you more about what it is after. And he did it. He like ran upstairs with his credit card and made it at the like literally the stroke of midnight. And that's what put it over to Success Club 10. So yeah, and he's
that's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome.
Of course, in my mind, I'm thinking like, oh, I should have a personal goal like this every day.
Yeah, you should. What's this? That coach app you're talking about? I never heard of that.
Oh yeah, it's Coach. Let me pull up the website. I will share it.
It's an actual like an app, or
No,
it's just a website.
Optimized website.
Oh wow! Yeah, I definitely need to see this.
Yeah. So the URL here is coachmobile.teambeachbody.com.
Coachmobile.teambeachbody.com.
And you log in with your Team Beachbody account, and then basically you get their name and their email, optional phone number, and then you configure the challenge pack. So you pick which workout program and you pick which Shakeology, and then it sends an email to them from Beachbody, from Team Beachbody, and all they have to do is just say like confirm my enrollment, and then enter they have to make like their screen name and password for their Team Beachbody account, and then enter their payment info, and it's right there. So
what if they're already your customer, but they haven't bought anything?
Only for new customers.
Only for new customers.
Yeah. And only for challenge packs.
Only for challenge packs. Got it.
Program for that.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That looks a lot. It makes it easier on them, you know. Some people get so confused with that damn Team Beachbody website, man. I mean, it is like the links never go to the right thing, and I'm tired of looking stupid, you know. It's like, so I actually made a 5-minute YouTube video explaining, hey, if I've ever sent you a link or sent you this, please follow these steps in case something goes wrong. And I actually highlight my cursor, go into the shop tab, all products, challenge packs, or whatever, and I actually explain it. Yeah. Because I've been screwed over like 3 or 4 times with about to hit Success Club and then didn't because something happened like that.
Yep, I agree. The good thing is it's in the works that Team Beachbody's whole webpage is going to be different. It was supposed to be done last year, but Carl even brought it up in Cancun. They spent some odd millions of dollars for this guy to create the system, and they couldn't even get it to break ground. So they basically had to start from scratch after spending millions on this guy to do it. So it's in the works to have a whole new system, a whole new web page front. And so obviously with time it'll come there, but yeah, at this point, you know, it is a challenge, unfortunately.
It's rough, man. I mean, it's rough. That website, it can be confusing. Almost every one of my customers go there and they're like just confused. Everything just looks so jumbled together and they don't really quite see the tabs correctly and where to go. And I don't know.
You do know about tbblinks.com, right?
No.
Okay, let me show
you. TBB, actual TBB or Team Beachbody?
TBB.
TBB linked. .com.
Yep. tbblinks.com.
Oh, links.
Yes, plural. So you put your coach ID here. And
is that like coachingcodes.com?
It is. It's organized a little differently, and it's also better mobile optimized.
Good.
It has Canadian stuff like right up front as well.
Okay. Oh, I'll definitely be going to that.
So yeah, you go to these links, and if you want you click here to get the link, and then copy and paste.
All right.
I don't know if you've been on there a while and a bit, Michael, but Coaching Codes did redo theirs finally. where it's
Yeah.
you don't just scroll through 500 things. Like you can go there and you click challenge packs and then it drops down to those, or you can click, you know, workouts and it drops down those. So it's not like before where you just kept scrolling and scrolling and
Yeah.
scrolling.
It's all drop down menus now.
I think I did see that.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty organized now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they took their cue from TBB links.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I did one day is I just spent some time and put my code in and just copy and pasted all of my links to a copy and paste app on my phone.
Yep.
And I could just pull it up and literally, I mean, I can literally pull up a challenge pack link in less than 5 seconds if I wanted to.
Yep.
I mean, just boom, 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 hit it, go, hit it, paste it, done, you know?
Very smart.
Yeah. I mean, it's time consuming at first, but it pays off.
Especially if there are certain products that you tend to recommend a lot.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
Janet's here. Janet, tell me you know about Shakeology. She don't get it. Please tell me you've heard of Shakeology. You must know about this amazing product.
I do, and I drink it every day.
I'm just messing with it.
Welcome. So Janet, just we're talking about inviting.
Okay.
That's the topic for tonight. So, and we'll share the video so you can catch up and
Okay. I'll do that later.
What else do you guys want to share? Like, what's working well for you, and what questions have you come across? Obstacles, sharing, inviting to either your challenge group, to a coach sneak peek, to try Shakeology, inviting to whatever. Free clean eating groups.
I've got a question really quick. When you talked about, back up when you were talking about the 5 steps, the 5 questions.
Yeah.
Now, when you start forming that person to fit them into a specific challenge pack, do you base your recommendations off of their answers, or do you strictly go first to what's on sale?
I never go from what's on sale.
Okay.
It's always from their answers.
Okay.
Yeah. Even when a product is not on sale, it's still a freaking great deal. So, whether something is $160 or $140, they have no idea.
Yeah.
I think it's always best to go from whatever program is going to be the best fit for them.
Well, because even a challenge pack that's not on sale is still on sale.
Yeah.
Versus buying it in whole.
Absolutely. And you get the full price first without the bundle, and then you get the challenge pack price, which is usually like $60 to $90 different.
And if it's on sale, if it's on sale, you could even take 3. You could say full price, that it is separately. You could say regular challenge pack price, and then now it's on sale price. So you could actually get 3 different prices, which would even create more value. Like, hey, it's this all together, and it's usually this, and now it's this,
Well, yeah, and part of it is that creating that sense of urgency. Like right now, that's one of the things that's big in selling is like you make it feel like if you don't do it to in the next day or two, like you're gonna miss out.
Yeah,
it's creating that urgency. So that's why I really like that method of breaking it down, because it does create that like, oh goodness, like I gotta get on this.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Peter, stop talking so much.
Peter, can you please?
He hasn't said one word. Just say hi. Unmute and say hi.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. He's alive.
Hey, Michael, I have a question though that I've had is that with Shakeology, I'm noticing that there are more, I want to say, choices, generic weight drinks that are out there. And so how do you approach it when somebody asks you to compare Shakeology to, let's say, I go to Costco and I can get a case of those protein drinks?
Yeah. I like to say you get what you pay for. I do occasionally get some cheap protein if I need to add additional protein, but Shakeology is not a protein shake. So if you're looking for just protein, then I'll ask them, are you protein deficient?
Well, I think when I talk to my friends about Shakeology, that's some of the confusion for them, is that there's so many drinks, diet drinks, protein drinks, all those that are out there, that how would you approach that to say, why is Shakeology better than, for example, going to Costco and getting that crate of the protein drink, or going to your Trader Joe's and getting that drink over there? And so how would you approach that by saying this is better than going and getting that Weight Watchers or that Special K drink that's on the shelf at the store?
Yeah, I talk about my own story. I will say I used to just do a protein shake, and I did that for several years, and I would usually get whatever is cheapest because I was super poor. Maybe I won't say that, but I'll say I would get whatever's cheapest. And then I saw Shakeology, and honestly, when I first saw the price, I was taken aback. I was like, why would I pay that much for protein when I can get it for a sixth of the price? But then I saw a bunch of friends who were trying it, and they were just raving about their results. They felt so much better. Honestly, they were leaving me in the dust with their results. Like, I wasn't changing and they were. So I decided just to suck it up and try it. I knew that there was a 30-day money-back guarantee, and I was just kind of curious to check it out. So I decided to try it, and within 5 days, I immediately felt my energy go up. And while I was working out really hard and I was seeing some results before trying Shakeology, as soon as I started on it, my results just skyrocketed. And it's also so much easier than.
A good way to chime in that, what I learned from another top coach, is that you start it with, I don't know about let's say they say, hey, this drink at Costco. Because obviously you don't want to talk negatively about other companies to try and bring yourself up. That's not the kind of person you want to be. So if you start with, I don't know much about the Costco drink, but what I do know, and then that's when you go into your story about Shakeology. So that's kind of reverting away from, because everyone's, hey, can you tell me of this one? And the problem is there's so many shakes out there that you're not going to know what all of them are. And instead of trying to be like, well, this one, ours has this and this, like you said, you say, I don't know much about that, but what I do know is, and then go into your story. Like you said, share your story. And that's one of the things too. There's tons of facts that you can give, but facts are just telling things. But once you tell a story, that's when people are like, oh, okay. And that's when people can relate to it. So, revert it back. Say, I don't know much about the Costco drink. I really don't. I haven't looked into it, but this is what I do know.
Okay. Thanks.
What I love about I don't know about that, all I know is it also unhooks you from being the expert know-it-all and having them like ask you more questions about random things that you don't want to talk about.
Good.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
And it's good to even use that if you do know. Like, let's say they say, hey, and it's some shake you used to know about. Still, like Michael said, it's going to lead to more questions if you start saying, well, I used to do this shake and this. Then they're going to ask more questions. So if I don't know much about that, and this is what I do know, and you keep it generic. I used to do other shakes and things just weren't working out. This, like he said, you don't give exact names and things like that. Just keep it generic. And part of that too is then, like you said, it makes it more duplicatable. So when you have other coaches, they can do the same thing, and so they're not sitting there feeling like they have to go research Slim Fast and Costco and all these other, that they can be the same way. Like, look, I don't know a lot about those shakes. I don't. This is all I know.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing I say, piggybacking off that, is I'll just say, yeah, I don't know much about that, but all I know is I've tried a lot of products and I wasn't getting results, and I wanted results, and I didn't start seeing them until I started taking Shakeology. And that kind of makes them think, well, it gives Shakeology that instant results credibility, you know, like, well, hey, this guy's tried so many other things like I'm thinking about, you know, like you said, the Costco and this and that, but that didn't work. He's tried it. It didn't work for him, but he found results with this. So it instantly makes them think, well, I want to try that, you know, and then you can go into the 30-day money back guarantee and all that. But
yeah,
so
I think at the core of a lot of these questions and any kind of objections are the two questions: does it work, and is it worth it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely.
There are a lot of things that work, you know, like, I don't know, spend 5 hours on a treadmill every day and maybe you'll burn some fat, but is it worth it? And then there's also a lot of stuff that's just cheap, and so maybe I guess you could say it's worth it because it's cheap, but then at the end of the day it doesn't work.
yeah. And again with the conversation that I have, and I'll say, yeah, I tried this one drink and I looked at the ingredients, and number 2 ingredient is sugar. So right there, I know it's not going to get me the results. And then I go into the conversation about Shakeology. But yeah, again, it's that first reaction is, wow, it costs that much. And then I say, well, I put it in my budget. If that's going to be my meal replacement, that's part of my budget. These are the results I'm getting. But that's kind of the wall that I'm hitting right now, is I'm getting from my friends, oh, well, I'm trying this other drink, or I'm doing this other type of, like I said, Costco, or, you know, you can go to a grocery store and get a diet drink kind of thing. And so that's how I kind of wonder, well, how do I approach that negative and not be negative about that product, but say, hey, you might want to try. So thank you.
It's creating value too. A lot of it is value, because you think you can go, you know, you go to the grocery store and let's say you're going to get cereal and there's this generic brand and there's the expensive brand. People are willing to buy the expensive brand because they see more value in this expensive brand. So you have to find a way that's going to create the value, you know, in it. It's like, you know, one of the greatest things I always talk about is, you know, you can go buy a case of water for like $2, right? But then you go to Vegas or Disneyland and they're selling one water bottle for like $5, and people still buy it because in that moment they see a lot of value in that water, even though they know they could get the same water for a nickel if they bought a case. In that moment there's a lot of value. And so money isn't really the issue in the end, it's whether it's worth it to them. So that's why you have to create that value for it, so they feel like, you know, it's worth it. Like there's coaches that will sell these drinks to people in other countries that can't get it, and they will literally spend, you know, $300, $400 to get it to these foreign countries, you know, buying all these things because they see a lot of value in it. Where, you know, if they're thinking there's these other shakes, they don't see the value in having the shake, and that's what you have to create. And that's where it's going back to their goals and their why. And then all of a sudden it creates that value, like, oh, I need this because I need to be there for my kids or for my family or for whatever the reason that they decided they wanted to do this. And so it creates that value where it's like, you know what, I'm willing to spend whatever it is. I think this is so important. So that's what you have to create. And then it gets rid of the whole, I want to save $1. It's where can I get this?
Right on. That's good.
Pretty awesome analogies there.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm just looking at the time right now, and 9:03 here Central Time. So I'm thinking we've had a lot of good stuff to cover, and we can close up here.
Next Monday?
Yeah. Yes, next Monday. So how about this? Should we do some sort of homework assignment for this week?
I say let's do it.
Homework. I'm a teacher, and this is my finals week, so I'm like getting out of homework mode.
Yeah, take it out on us. Good job.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Michael.
Hey, I just want to plug real fast. If you guys, anybody stops at Sam's Club, the whole entire 101 John Maxwell collection for $10.50.
Wow.
I saw that. What is that?
It's the 101 collection. It's got like 9 books in this one book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for $10. It's got like all of those books.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's at Sam's Club. I don't know. I'm in California, but it's in Sam's Club for $10.50, and that book retails, I think, at Barnes and Noble for like $29 or something.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good plug. Yeah. Well, let's just go out and invite people.
Yes.
Do you have something to invite people to already?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I've got clean eating groups. I've got challenge groups. I've got 30-day accountability groups. I've got. I'm working on starting just a free general fitness. I was gonna run that by, but we're running out of time. But maybe for next week, we could talk about that.
Yeah. Cool. Everybody else? I know. For me, our ramps, we kind of roll in each week if we have enough people, and then I want to do a coach sneak peek next week. So I'd like to invite a bunch of people to that as well. So that's kind of my project.
Yeah, awesome.
And
do you do your own sneak peeks, or do you go through TNLs, or what do you do?
We're
Michael?
doing it ourselves.
You do your in-house? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Had to rise as a leader.
That's awesome, man.
Make one that fits us, that fits our personality.
Yeah. Do you pull content from other things, or is everything you create is all original? You and your team?
I researched about 7 different systems and took the best of what I liked and kind of Frankensteined it together.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was when I get to that point. That's probably what I'll do.
I was going to say, at what point did you decide it was necessary to start doing your own as opposed to going to others? At what point in your business did you say, okay, I need to start doing my own?
I did 3 of the TNL ones and got 0 response.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I struggle, but it's like the same time. Part of it, I feel like you need to have credibility, like when Josh shares his stories of all this stuff. And it's like, for me, it's hard because it's like, cool, I work 2 jobs and I do this and get no sleep. Like, it's hard a selling pitch where if they, see someone successful, then it's kind of like, oh, wow, okay, I can see the potential.
Yeah. Well, Brendan, you and I went to Mexico, so that's a huge thing to leverage.
My business, like I haven't gotten anywhere yet, but I've had more, what can I say, more interest in the business since then, where all these people are like, wait, you got to go to Cancun? Wait, and nothing's come of it yet, but way more interest than I've ever had before based on that alone. So I realized that, and that's what, I always try and see is that once you have like these things, you go on trips, you can do these things, people get more interested. So it's like, you kind of have to create that credibility. And Mexico definitely helped, but it's like, we didn't get that for free, unfortunately. We still had to pay out of pocket, but obviously it was cheaper than we would have paid if we would have tried to go to the Moon Palace anyway. So there is that still that point, but it's still not the credibility of, hey, I got a free trip. And hey, I was able to quit my job, or hey, I'm able to do that. It's different leverage that I struggle with. And I don't know if it's just a personal confidence thing and believing it, or if it really is having those things to portray to people that they'll bite on.
Yeah.
The accolades. Yeah.
Here's the thing that I'm learning about this is, we spend a lot of time in our coach groups, and we are surrounded by people who are way more successful than we are. And, we see like, wow, they're up here and I'm down here, and I'm struggling to create the value that I see that they have the ability to create because I don't have that yet. And everybody starts at the bottom. However, the people that we're talking to have no idea what's possible. They have no idea that, somebody could be making 6 and 7 figures. All they know is you, and they know how your life went from here to here. And it was because of Beachbody. And
go ahead.
Well, if you position it like, before, my life was like this. And then I started Beachbody coaching, and now my life is better. And they have no idea about the scale, about how much better that is, or how much, what's possible. All they know is your life is better.
Now, and I don't know if it's, because I live in California, but most of the people I know somebody that's in network marketing that, has explained to them levels. So it's like most of the people that come to me when you talk about it, they're like, oh, is it one of those network marketing things? Is it like, Herbalife or ad? Like they already know the system. And I don't know if it's just because here in California, it seems like every neighbor is part of something or what, but it's like, so it's for me, they're like, oh, my friend does this and he, was able to quit his job. Where are you at in the business? And it's kind of like, well, so that's what I challenge with here in California. Like I said, I don't know if it's like that everywhere, if it's just, bigger here where everybody wants to be a part of something, or I don't know what.
Yeah. I think it all goes down back to the law of the lid with John Maxwell's law, where, there's a scale of 1 to 10. And if you are a 4 in wherever your success is, as a business, as fitness, as leadership, whatever it is, if you're a 4, then don't spend your time trying to convince 7s to follow you. You need to be working on the 1, 2s, and 3s. And then as you get experience with working with the 1, 2s, and 3s, then you're gonna get success, and then you'll be a 5, and then you can work in the 4s. So you might be running into people who are expecting you to be at a higher number than you are. And, it's really uncomfortable trying to pretend that we're something that we're not, or convincing somebody that we're more successful.
Absolutely.
So why spend the time on that? Others who are ready and who need you and who need what you have.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've printed that myself, and I just told them what Josh told me to say, and he said just tell them, well, yeah, I'm not successful right now, but I'm plugged into a system that is, and I'm on my way, and I want you to join with me.
Yeah.
So Josh was just kind of saying, don't lie to them, but just tell them, yeah, I'm not the most successful coach right now. I've kind of just gotten my feet wet with this, but I'm plugged into a system that is tried and true and proven. And if you want me to show you successful coaches, I can. He was telling me to say that to people. If you need credibility, then I can give it to you. I can call coaches right now that are this, this, and this. But that's not where I'm trying to get to you. I'm trying to make you understand that if you get with me or under me, you'll be plugged into a system that is very reputable and successful and stands for something and has, impeccable coaching, training, and you just kind of go into the value of the whole system as a whole,
Makes sense.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. What do you think? Homework is invite.
And next week, if you guys have certain topics or questions that you want to talk about for next week, send that to me. I've got some ideas of kind of what I'd like to talk about as well. But we will decide that by Wednesday, and we'll send out an invitation by Wednesday.
Sounds good, man.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Nice talking with everybody.
Thank you for having me on here. Thank you for letting me come in. It's always a pleasure to, come in here and be a part.
You're always welcome. I want to actually open this up to multiple teams. So yeah, you're always welcome.
Thank you. Awesome. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.